It has certainly been a busy 2016 for homicide detectives here in Edmonton, as this is one of the deadliest years on record. There have been 40 murders this year, 8 deaths shy of the record 48 back in 2011. Detectives say many of the killings are linked to drugs, and of the 40 cases we've seen, 20 remain unsolved. Investigators have laid a total of 26 charges to date. 16 of those accused are known to police. More than 3/4 of the murders in our city this year involved a weapon. The most common was a firearm. 4 of the homicides were completely random attacks. 2 suspects face charges in those cases. 2 others have been identified but not charged.
But these are lengthy investigations where a lot of work has to be done. Because of the nature of a random attack, a motive can be hard to determine. It takes a lot of legwork for detectives to find out what's going on. And one of the big things we look at in random attacks is the history of the victim, what's going on. So we have a lot of people to interview. And this is what takes time. And while it's tough on the families, we try and keep in contact with them, but understandably, based on our business, we can't give out a lot of information.
Detectives say they have a suspect in 80% of the cases they're currently working on. The problem, they say, there isn't enough evidence to lay charges in those situations. Another growing problem on the streets is fentanyl, and it's become a big issue for the homicide in terms of being on their radar.
Here in Edmonton.
We will investigate drug trafficking at all levels, and we will use whatever offenses that we will have to lay against drug traffickers, because it has such a dramatic impact on our community, and as a result our homicides are affected. The number of homicides are affected as well.
Homicide detectives say they are managing the current workload with the resources they have, although there is a plan to add another detective to the unit come the new year. Alberta has recorded its second flu-related death of the season. This recent death happening in the southern part of our province. The first case was reported in Calgary 2 weeks ago. So far this season, there have been 756 lab-confirmed cases of influenza A and 18 of influenza B. In all, 189 people have been hospitalized. Health officials say more than 1 million Albertans have also rolled up their sleeves to get the flu shot. A major international sporting event is returning to our city. Edmonton will host the ITU World Championships Grand Finals in 2020. The event will mark the 3rd time Canada has hosted the World Championships, with Edmonton having organized the race in 2001 and 2014. Our city is also a regular stop on that annual tour. With 3,000 competing triathletes and a budget of $8 million, the Grand Final is a much larger show than the regular tour stop. Edmonton is one of only 2 cities to stage the Global Triathlon Championship on 3 separate occasions. Overseas, an operation to evacuate thousands of civilians and fighters from the war-torn Syrian city of Aleppo is now underway. Russian troops are overseeing a long convoy of buses and ambulances. Children and those critically wounded and sick were the first to leave. The evacuation is part of a ceasefire deal to have the rebels surrender their last foothold in Aleppo to Syrian government control. The move comes in the wake of a devastating ground and air offensive by government forces over the past few weeks. It marks the end of the opposition's 4-year control of the eastern part of the city. Evacuated citizens will be taken to rebel-held areas outside Aleppo. Officials say hundreds of civilians have been killed and tens of thousands displaced in the government's campaign to retake Aleppo. Well, the Oilers are getting a few off-ice assists and suiting up as Santa's helpers. Some Oilers trading in their skates and sticks today for presents. They dropped by the Stollery Children's Hospital to visit with the kids and their families. The annual event gives the team a chance to interact with fans and lift the spirits of the children, especially around the holidays.
And negative, but while you come here and see those guys, see these kids, and see what they're going through, I mean, it just takes you down to earth, really. And I mean, you got to be humble, and it's like I said before, it's very nice to be here and meet all these kids. no.
The Oilers also spread some joy to patients at the Glen Rose and Ronald McDonald House. All right.